Hi, folks. Rick Barrowby here, live with Mark Stark. Is this still Mark Stark?
It is.
Mark Stark. Happy Cinco de Mayo. All right, we're gonna keep this on the whole time, and let's get it started, Mark.
All right, I'll get it started.
It's tough. Don't try to take us seriously, though.
Yeah, exactly. Rick was worried that you wouldn't take us seriously. I say you will. Okay. Also, it's Giving Tuesday. So give to your charities Tuesday, and it's also Taco Tuesday. It's also perfect time for Cinco de Mayo.
Exactly.
All right.
That's like a synchronicity. Yeah.
Yeah. Please keep the words smaller.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's get started. As we have our topic, what great agents are doing to prepare to get out of crisis, and we've got three main areas that we want to talk about with some few points in here, and I know you have definitely some right on points to these topics. Okay, first of all, and I know we try and get around this, but it's never going to happen. You know you're never supposed to use the word never? Well, I'm telling you, never. This will never happen. And if we're gonna move out of crisis in a positive direction, it starts with psychology. All right? It starts with the way you see the world. And psychology runs everything. So if you're wondering which direction you're going to go, I promise you it starts with the way you're thinking. So let me throw in that your intention and your purpose, okay, is more important than non-committed thoughts. So what I mean by that is if you're thinking about some decent ideas and you're saying, you know, I should do this or I should do that, not going to be any as important as your intention and your actual purpose. What do you think, Rick?
Absolutely. One of the things I always say to myself is you will never outperform your opinion of yourself. So that's something you need to work on every single day. And committed thoughts, you also need to have committed affirmations. Like you got to write them down. They have to be exact. Not I will, it would be nice, I'm going. No, I make this, I do that, I sell that. So very, very clear is completely important because whatever you radiate out is what you get back.
Well, and which ties into this next point of we would prefer you having honest goals versus realistic. And what I mean by that is, look, you know what? I get you. First of all, realistic depends on the individual in a big way. But here's sometimes what we do is we put goals down that we think we are supposed to do or that, are you doing okay over there?
Yeah.
That we think we're supposed to do, all right, or we think other people are expecting from us, instead of just being completely honest and saying, you know what, I'm not going to commit that much, or I'm going to commit in a much bigger way. Whatever that commitment is for you, go with the honest goals, regardless of what anyone else is thinking, instead of trying to just be realistic of what everyone else is thinking you should do, because you're not going to do it. So let's go with honest goals.
Absolutely.
Last point on this psychology is, and I'm a broken record with it, you need to be 100%, not 99, 100% clear on your desired outcome. Let me give you an example on this, okay, is if I told you we were going to an event, okay, we are going to a event, all right, go get ready for the event. Wouldn't you want to know what type of event is it? What if you showed up and you dressed and it was a costume party? Or you thought it was a costume party, you dressed up and it was a black tie affair, all right? That would be a problem. Why? Because you didn't have clarity on your direction. You didn't have clarity on the outcome of the event. What I need you to understand, unless you have clarity on your direction, there's no way to get there. In fact, if you go to the arsenal, you look for all the support that the company can help you with, the tools the company has, the tools you've created for yourself. If you're going to that toolbox before you know where the heck you want to go, let me tell you something, you're starting behind the eight ball. Rick, what do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, one of those things is like you get the world's a mirror. It's giving you what you're asking for, and you have to be 100% clear, even in those little jokes that you tell yourself. So very important to be 100% clear, your goals, everything. You have to start every day like that. Remind yourself, why am I doing this? Well, I'm doing this because I want to sell this many homes and help this many people. And in order to do those things, you have to have so many activities that go involved with it. So I think it helps you, start the day off right and get into it.
Okay, and to help you even one step further on that, I would take the outcome as your one thing. You know, we always hear our brain, and it's true, you can't focus on more than one thing. I know you think you can, and you have a lot of things going on, but all you're doing is giving less focus to a lot of different things. So if you really want to accomplish something and get it done at the highest level possible, and or the most efficient level possible, you focus on one thing. Make getting clear on your desired outcome that one thing until you're absolutely sure. And don't lie to yourself. Be clear on where you're trying to go, and then guess what? As a team, as a company, as your fellow sales executives, as your branch manager, we can help you achieve it once you have clarity and we know your desire is to hit X number, whatever that X numbers are.
Absolutely. No, I agree 100%.
All right. Here's a question for you. How do you inspire yourself to succeed at your maximum potential? How do you inspire yourself? It's different. I got to give Rick kudos right now. Even though he's wearing the big hat and I have to worry about messing up my hair and Rick doesn't.
Right.
Anyway, you know, I have to say, I have in the past, not lately, you know what? We travel to markets. We are there at the same time, and I know Rick is completely consistent at his commitment to his physical health. Okay, 4 in the morning, he's out the door, and he is working out. One thing I know is he has chosen to inspire himself to be in good shape. Tell everybody more about that.
Well, you know, and people ask me that all the time. Do you always feel like working out? And I always go, no, I don't. But I think there are certain days, like I said, you got to have your goal in mind, and then there are certain activities that go along with it. Some days, like this morning, I woke up, couldn't wait. Yesterday, not so much. But I know, and some days I play a little game with myself. When is it all going to come together? Because I know once I put the body through the motions, the mind eventually shows up. But if you don't put the body through the motions, the mind never shows up.
Well, something you've always taught me is once you create that habit, you put that habit in play, then you're unstoppable because now it's just automatic. You know it's part of what you do each day, not each month, not each quarter, not each year, each day. And once you start that habit, I know you've done that so religiously.
Well, it's like that's my little book, Success is a Verb is about, basically, is that it takes some people, you know, studies say 21. Actually, people say 21 days to create a habit. I've looked it up. There's no actual backing for that or proof. They're just it's I don't know. Somebody started saying 21 days. I know for me, the beginning of a habit starts in 21 to 30 days. But you've been doing it for 60 to 90. Then even on those days I don't feel like it as much today, I kind of chuckle because I know within minutes I'm going to feel like it because I've created the habit.
You know,
absolutely.
And I have to give you another kudos. You know, Rick and this Gordon as well, because they're so consistent in their commitment to their physical health, has inspired me. Which brings me up on my next point is if you're going to inspire yourself, what you don't realize, you have the power to inspire others at the same time by living and breathing by example. Not by talking about it, not by telling things. I have to tell you, you know, Rick or Gordon never convinced me to work out by giving me feedback and saying, here's what you should do, here's what you should, not once. You know what really motivated me and inspired me to even be more consistent is they live it. And I watch them living it and breathing it every single day, which silently inspired me to be more effective at my physical health. And that's a powerful point that we can't forget. You don't realize that even people that you may never even had a conversation with, you are inspiring them when you live, your actions correctly.
Yeah, and you know what? It's true. And if you notice, I don't push it. I don't push it on anybody. Because normally when we talk about working out, just like right now, you bring it up. I don't go, hey, by the way,
exactly.
Look at me, look at you. Come on, get on the. No, I don't do that.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing. I'm trying to say.
What do you mean by that?
I'm trying to say this hat is inspiring me to sweat profusely. That's what I'm trying to say right now. You see shine?
Well, you know, I'm going to tell you, and we
joke around all the time about this.
We do. We love it. We you know what? We talk a lot about. I know both Rick and I do about daily actions, DRC, and the whole bit.
Yeah.
But you know, what I find that stops people from doing their daily actions is they try and be perfect. They try and get something to say, well, I don't want to do it until I absolutely know every single step. And I'm telling you, that's the wrong attitude, because you're never going to be perfect. Being or getting something completed beats perfect every day of the week. Don't worry about perfect. You'll get better over time. And the more you take it seriously and work on your skill sets, you'll continue to get better. But that should never be a preventive measure to stop you from doing.
You know, as a matter of fact, they did a study. They took this art class in college. They gave one guy or one group of people 50 pounds of like lead and material, and they said, keep making stuff as many as you want. Don't try for perfection. The other group, they said, here's a certain amount of material. You're going to make one thing and make it perfectly. By the end of the season, guess who was making, or the end of the class, who was making? It's the people that had a whole bunch of stuff to make mistakes and try again. And don't worry about perfection. Just do as many pieces of art as you want. And by the end of the 3 months, that class was blown away. The other class.
In one way, shape, or form, so many books that I've read, so many tapes that I've listened to, it's all about getting things done and, in fact, celebrating your mistakes. You know, you want to fail at a high level. You can't fail at a high level until you really strive to get at a high level, and you don't get there without making mistakes. So by definition, if you want to succeed at a very high level, you have to make mistakes. Trying to skip the mistakes is like trying to skip sweating from working out, and I just came up with that right now.
Or sweating while wearing this hat.
That's
in this
very
conference
big
room
point.
with all these French fry lights on us.
All right.
Eyes are up.
Last point on this is, and again, this really ties it all together, is if your daily routine, we're talking about now getting out of the crisis on top, if your daily routine hasn't already started, what your long-term commitment's going to be, not if you're sitting there right now, yeah, I've got to get that daily routine intact prior to us doing the complete opening, there's your mistake. Okay, your daily routine should have already started. So now you've built that habit. So as we transition out and we have the authority to completely open up, though it'll be a process, not an event, guess what? Your routine's already in play. You're already ahead of the pack instead of saying, hey, I better get it started now.
Yeah, I agree. You have to, there is no perfection, and you have to just decide what you're going to do and start doing it. And I think it's critically important that you decide, especially like with this situation going on. There are certain things that I would say to myself, okay, before the skies open and the floodgates open again in a few weeks, what do I need to have down where I have the time to do right now? Like your CRM. Like next week we're doing the VAC 2.0. Okay, I would look at those. I would get organized. Make sure, one of the things that I think every one of you should have, and I talk about it in my coaching, is, and I was just talking to someone in the staircase about this, one of our agents, is if there's ever been a time in the history of this business to get a buyer broker agreement signed, it's now. All the extra hoops and things you got, hey, look if you want me to do all that, I'd love to work with you, but you got to hire me. How can you explain to somebody that you're your customer when you have to go through all this extra stuff to show that it's the perfect time to implement a BBA into your, would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And I love the concept of hire me. Think about this. Let me do the very best job I can for you, but I need your commitment. You need to hire me. And let me tell you something that is so factual and so real. Not that you would never do a great job regardless. You're just trying to make sure the client understands the relationship going forward, which, by the way, starts from a quality buyer's interview. If you're skipping a buyer's interview, mistakes will happen, and you won't have a BBA because the reality of it is you didn't take the time to sit down and talk about it in advance.
And have you ever heard one of those stories? Where
I
was working with these people for 2 weeks, and then they bought from something. I'm giving the paraphrased one. Well, they can't do that. Now, I don't get a buyer broker agreement signed, so no matter what happens, I get paid. I get them so they decided to use me. That's a whole different word.
Yeah.
Decide means to cut off all other options.
It does and can protect your compensation,
right.
But more importantly, the power comes from just understanding the relationship so you guys are working together. You're a team going forward from that standpoint. Okay, so questions. I want you to ask questions, but I have to tell you one caveat to some of these questions, if we have any today, is questions that are coming into me offline are having more to do with a matter of facts. And meaning, okay, how is this going to work later? And I want to caution everyone from this is, I'm going to tell you point blank, we're going to have to zig where we thought we were going to have to zag, and we're going to have to zag where we thought we had to zig. The more you lock yourself in to saying, I can do business as long as X, Y, and Z happens, don't do that to yourself. Don't do that. You're putting expectations that you may not be able to live up to because guess what? We may not be allowed to do X or Y. Here's what you need to do. Once you get clear on your desired outcome, see, that's the power. When you're clear on your desired outcome, you don't care about zigging or zagging. I'll zig, I'll zag. Here's what I do know. I'm going to hit my 35 closings this year. Come heck or high water, I will achieve my goal. And you know what? It may not be exactly the way that I thought it was because something comes up out of my control. But when you get clear on that outcome, all right, you're able to achieve regardless of what's thrown at you. So when you ask questions, be careful because not that I'll answer any question that you have and Rick can help answer any questions. What the key is I just don't want you to fall into the trap of building these rock solid expectations that may not serve you well. So any questions today?
I have a comment.
Sure.
It's from, hold on just a second here, Natalie DeFraudis. She says, according to John Assaraf, who is teaching neuroscience concepts, it takes 66 plus days to form a habit.
Yeah, I would agree. I know exactly what Don Assaraf. He's from Canada.
Assaraf.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Natalia she's from Rancho Cucamonga. All right, and I think it's honestly, I think it's different for everybody because when I read that 21 days to create a habit, I thought I was slow because it takes me a lot longer. No comments out of you. But honestly, it depends. I would agree more with 66 days for myself personally. But I know people, you do it for 2 weeks, it's a habit. That doesn't work like that way for me.
Yeah, but I think you hit the nail on the head, just like our clients. It really depends on an individual basis. But here's the power. Once you create that habit, regardless of the exact timing, you're in.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, and I like what you put here too, I just noticed this on the paper, business, new normal, personal, these are all, I think, really important too.
No, and because the reality of it is, and this was just personal notes for me, but when we talk about the new normal, you know, it affects business, personal, physical, mental, family, friends. You know, there's a lot of things that will have a new normal. But here's the kicker. In all those situations, if I want, I'll use myself as an example, if I want to be the best husband and dad going forward, guess what? That's my goal, regardless that, we're not allowed to do that at their school anymore. All right, well, I had that plan, so I'm not going to do anything. I'll cut out the good dad thing. That's not the direction I'm going to go. I'm going to go, okay, I can't do A, I'm going to do B. So we have to be flexible no matter what in these things, and that's why I'm just cautioning you not to lock yourself into one way. Some of you like to do business X way. Well, what if that needs to be adjusted a little bit? Don't lock yourself out of achieving your goal, your outcome. You need to be flexible. Any other questions? Yes.
From Christina Palomero.
Yeah.
What will the offices be doing as far as masks, gloves, none, optional?
Okay. It's a great question. Okay, so as we open, we are now in the process, as we speak, building our protocol, already on it, building what the protocol will be in the offices, working with clients, doing open houses, whatever the case may be. It's not completed as of yet. It is in process. We're gathering a lot of information from professionals outside our industry as well as inside our industry of what others are doing, and we will have a protocol for you prior to us being able to open up in the marketplace. And remember this, even when phase 1 hits and we're allowed to open, that will not be, a full open. I'm just telling you what's already coming back. And we operate in 4 markets and 3 different states with different rules all around. So bear with us on that aspect of it but we will have a protocol that, by the way, we may be more comfortable being a little bit more conservative than we're allowed to do. Sometimes we may choose to be a little bit more aggressive than what the overall recommendations are. Either way, we will have a protocol for you. It's a great question.
Yes.
We have a fun question.
Go for it.
From Jennifer Wentz. Mark and Rick, what's your favorite taco in celebration of Cinco de Mayo? Chicken, carne asada, or beef?
Wow. So I'll go first.
Please.
Rick. Okay. Because we know you're healthier than I am, so your taco would have nothing on it.
Right.
And
I
just
have
be
air
a chip.
taco.
An air taco.
Yeah.
I am, and I'm going to admit this right online, I'm a burrito guy. So the chances of me even having a taco on Taco Tuesday.
It's a lot of work.
But I would be a Burrito Tuesday guy, which does not rhyme, makes no sense. But I'm just being honest. I would be a burrito, and that burrito would be a chicken burrito with all the fixings.
It's easier to eat.
What, the burrito?
Well, a taco falls apart. It's like a full-time job eating a taco. You know
It's
what
a very good point you make. And,
Yeah.
and again, I'm taking the simpler, more efficient, and effective way.
Yes, good.
Plus the thing with about 1,200 more calories than the taco as well.
But if I had to pick a taco, it would be chicken, yes.
Yeah, it's be a chicken taco.
And back to the office question. Kim Nathanson asked, what about offices? We will have wipes by the copiers and hand sanitizer stations in the office, which you...
That will all be part of
Yeah.
that will all be part of the protocol. And remember this, it will be a team effort. Okay? It will be a team effort. The only way to make this work effectively is where we're all working together. We're all respectful of each other. We're all respectful of our different feelings. Okay? If one person is like, oh, I don't even think about that. I want to get it. And I've heard this. I want to get it. This way I have it, I build my immune system, and I move on. Someone else saying, I don't want to get it, and we have to be respectful all the way, so we'll not be just one person. We all have to work together, and we will keep our environments as clean as we possibly can, and that will certainly be part of the protocol going forward.
Sabrina Bergman is asking, will office meetings continue to be virtual?
We are going to incorporate the virtual office meeting 100%. However, that does not mean we won't also be doing live sales meetings as well. This virtual communication will be part of the new normal and certainly be part for our company. We will adjust the timing of things, so it may not be as often as we have it today, but it will absolutely be consistent.
But it'll be both eventually, you're saying? Yeah.
Oh, no, it will always be both. We
Yeah.
won't even stop. You won't even feel the change from a standpoint of it not being both, because this new normal and this new opportunity to be able to touch so many people so often is a powerful communication tool, and we'll continue to use it.
That's great.
Great. Okay. Any other comments from you, Rick?
No, I would just say that, look, you've got, it's almost like, remember we were talking earlier, it's like the preseason. It's like the 4 games before the other games start. That's kind of what you have available to you right now before the floodgates open, So, whatever your routine needs to be, and like Mark said, don't try to do 72 things. Decide what's important to you coming out of here. What do I want to add? Pick one thing, develop that. All you have to do, think about this. If you want to change your life, you got to change what you're doing. In order to get to where you're going, you got to change what you're doing. And there's depending on who you are, 20 days to 66 days to 70 days to create that new habit that'll stick with you forever. It's not a bad trade-off if you think about it.
Amen. That's all I have to say to that. That is a great comment. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. Take care. Woohoo!